boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
No one can do it better.
What's up? Bonjour, bonjour, beauty. Hi, everyone. I'm waiting on my plane, so I'm ready to fly to Saudi Arabia for the fight tomorrow. We got a phone call yesterday to get proposed for the fight. So I would like to say thank you to Excellency for choosing me. Big cards, big platform. I'm so grateful. And a big thank you to my team at Ben Sloan. I'm waiting already, my plane, and in 1-2 hours, I'll leave here for Addis Ababa and Addis Ababa to Saudi Arabia. This is unbelievable. Like I'm dreaming. I'm not dreaming. Tomorrow, I think I'll shock the world tomorrow. Anytime they ask you to go to war, always be ready. So I'm ready to go. Thank you so much. This short video just to let you know that I'm on my way to Saudi Arabia. We're headed to go. We're waiting on the flight. Thank you so much, guys. I don't have more time, so Saudi Arabia, Martin is coming. The boogeyman.
I'm blowing up like a Scud missile hitting land. So take a stand and wave your hand, cause I'm your boogeyman.
Why couldn't they get the boogeyman a private jet rather than have him waiting around hours for a flight? I made a poll 4 days ago before Dubois was withdrawn from his fight with Joseph Parker Saturday. And I said, who should be the main event? Parker versus Dubois or Beterbiev versus Bivol? And I wasn't expecting the majority to say Parker versus Dubois. Quite the opposite, but I still thought it was an interesting observation to make, because I'm old enough to remember how big Muhammad Ali was, even though I was too young to be a boxing fan. And I witnessed the whole of Mike Tyson's reign. I witnessed part of Larry Holmes's reign. Remember the transition period from Ali retiring and Sugar Ray Leonard being the cash cow, a welterweight. That was an anomaly. Also, I spent a lot of my time in them boxing magazines and picked up a lot of information that I didn't think I would be channeling. And here's what you have to remember. Joe Louis held the heavyweight title from 1937 to 1948. Joe Louis used to mentor Sugar Ray Robinson, arguably the greatest fighter of all time, depending on what historical source you quote. Then you have Henry Jackson Jr., or better known to you, Henry Armstrong. Sugar Ray Robinson's real name is Walker Smith. Joe Louis, his full name is Joe Louis Barrow. Now, Jack Johnson won the heavyweight title in 1908, so it was 29 years later till another black man was permitted to fight for the mainstream title, not just the colored title. And that was Joe Louis. Now, we could go into why black fighters were blackballed for that period of time, but it's another discussion, it's another video. Now, between Joe Louis, Henry Armstrong and Sugar Ray Robinson, we're seeing the transition from great black boxers to potential boxing superstars. Joe did tremendous gates at Yankee Stadium, the MSG. Unfortunately, his purses were ate up negotiating for his world title fight against the Cinderella Man, James J. Braddock. Braddock and his manager exercised their leverage, knowing that if Mike Jacob, one of Joe Louis's manager, his white manager, or John Roxburgh wanted that title shot, they're going to have to find the money, because he's a black challenger. There hasn't been a black challenger for 29 years. So the compromise was Joe gave up 10% of his earnings for the next 10 years, I believe, to Braddock and his manager, and that's how Joe got his title shot. Sugar Ray Robinson did defeat Henry Armstrong near the tail end of Henry's career. Henry didn't make as much money as Sugar Ray Robinson. Robinson made a fortune but was unable to hold on to it. Joe Louis made a fortune, but the IRS came back for back taxes, and a lot of his money went into supporting the soldiers in the war effort, in which he played an integral part. A lot of people believe that pound for pound started with Sugar Ray Robinson, but it became more of a media thing with Sugar Ray Robinson, but it was spoke about with Henry Armstrong. Henry held 3 world titles simultaneously, from featherweight to welterweight. The pound for pound thing became a tangible thing because the heavyweights were able to out-earn the remaining weight classes as it was. So it was a necessity. If you were to tell somebody that a light heavyweight contest, I don't care who it was between, we could be talking about Archie Moore, we could be talking about Bob Foster, Michael Spinks, all the great light heavies, none of them can out main event a heavyweight. None of them. I spoke about Mike Tyson's reign and Larry Holmes' reign. When Muhammad Ali retired, around 1981 I believe it was, it left a void in boxing. That void was filled by Sugar Ray Leonard. Not only by Sugar Ray Leonard, but the series of fights that he, Duran, Thomas Hearns and Hagler had. Larry Holmes was a formidable champion and earned big purses. Heavyweight champion. But this was the first time that I can remember that a non-heavyweight was considered the flagship bearer of the sport. Larry Holmes following in Muhammad Ali's footsteps was not an enviable task, and he was resentful that he never got his due from the media or the public. When Mike Tyson came along though, all that welterweight, middleweight, we're flagship in the sport. Mike was the guy, and it stayed that way from the 80s when Mike was champion into the 90s, when he, Holyfield, Lennox Lewis had it, all the way until Lennox Lewis retired around 2003, I want to say. In the late 90s, Oscar De La Hoya was a highly ranked fighter, and he was doing huge pay-per-view numbers. His debut, he was the Olympic champion. He earned a humongous purse from his debut. Like, he was the most sought-after fighter. He went with Bob Arum, but he had Shelley Finkel paying his expenses while he competed in the Olympics, paying his mother's hospital bills. She was really sick. Eventually he went with Bob. You know, the likes of Mike Tyson, Holyfield, Lennox Lewis, Foreman, Bowen, they were taking big purses, but Oscar was able to compete with the heavyweights in terms of purses when he fought the likes of Trinidad. And when America were no longer producing superstars in the heavyweight division, he became the recognized cash cow of the sport. And he passed that mantle over to Mayweather when Mayweather beat him. Mayweather passed it on to Canelo after he beat Canelo and left the game undefeated. And from Sugar Ray Leonard, Mayweather, Canelo and Oscar, they've changed the landscape where they've managed to share billing with heavyweights in terms of big purses, often surpassing the heavyweights. So what I'm saying is basically it's an anomaly for the smaller men to out main event, to out cash cow the heavyweights. And I saw Ade make a video today saying don't forget about the main event, which is an undisputed light heavyweight title clash between Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol. He's saying don't forget about this fight because of what's transpired in the last few days. Dubois pulling out of his heavyweight title defense against Joseph Parker, getting replaced by Martin Bakole. The news has just gone crazy and it's put that light heavyweight contest on the back burner in terms of who's talking about it. The heavyweights will always find a way to make that noise. Always. It's no coincidence, yeah? There hasn't been a Riyadh season without a heavyweight fight on there. It started, literally, with the heavyweights flagshipping and promoting the idea of having boxing in that part of the world. AJ, Usyk, Tyson Fury are the three names that have flagshipped this new era in boxing.
And we have a new era in boxing.
What did Frank Warren title his debut card in April on DAZN? Heavy Impact. Pure heavyweights. Pure heavyweights. They're not even highly ranked heavyweights right now. Dillian, Joe Joyce, Akoli, Riakporhe, Adelaide, and TKV. Not even well-ranked heavyweights. But the proposition of seeing these big heavyweights throw big punches, potential knockouts, is always a winning formula. Joseph Parker is even remodeling his body with the hope that he's going to score big knockouts, because he knows that's what people expect heavyweights to do. He weighed in 267, 20 pounds heavier than he weighed in for Zhilei Zhang 11 months ago. The heaviest he's weighed previously was when he lost to Joe Joyce. He weighed 255. He's 12 pounds heavier than that. So 86% said Bivol and Beterbiev should be the main event over Dubois and Parker. And let's not forget, we've had charismatic light heavyweights like Archie Moore, Roy Jones, talented guys like Joe Calzaghe, explosive, punching, dominant light heavyweight champions, like Bob Foster. But Bivol and Beterbiev are not good at selling the event. Like, TalkSport were talking about heavyweights and boxing in general. Who are the characters after AJ, Fury, and Wilder retire? And they said Usyk isn't a showman, which is always a showman. Fury's a showman. Joshua's a showman. Joshua's not a showman. He can sell the event, but he's not a showman. Usyk is a showman. I see Usyk dancing all the time and like, he raps, came in as a hitman. He's a showman. He's a showman. But if Riyadh season depended on Bivol and Beterbiev, as skilled and talented as they are, to sell the event, it wouldn't be happening. And I know there's some fans of Bivol and Beterbiev, and I'm a massive Bivol fan. They're going to be like, they're going to take this as me being dismissive. And I'm not. I'm just talking the absolute truth. Bob Arum shut this fight down because he said Bivol's kind of boring and the maths don't add up. That's from Bob Arum, the promoter's mouth. Hey, I'm paying for the pay-per-view. And I would have paid for it without Riyadh season watching Bivol and Beterbiev. But the facts are, if it weren't for the heavyweights Riyadh season, they wouldn't be getting this amount of coverage. They just wouldn't. We might not even be getting the fight. The other two heavyweight fights on the card don't have no sanctioning belts. Neither of them are world titles. But Zhang can't even speak English. But when people see Zhilei Zhang, oh, bang, bang, he's going to bang him. No, did he? It's corny. But he's trying a thing to market himself. Both Bivol and Beterbiev can speak very good English, better than Canelo can. And a Chinese man is able to market himself better than they can. And the Chinese man ain't a world champion. I don't think Bivol's boring at all. Bivol is a classic boxer, great technical boxer, one of the best. Right? But Beterbiev, in the ring, is pure destruction. All about the hands. And it goes to show you, people say, that fighter's boring, this fighter's boring, he doesn't sell. But more often than not, you need a bit of everything. You need to be entertaining in the ring, and you need to be able to sell the product outside it with the extracurricular activity. Because if it was all about knockouts and destruction, Beterbiev shouldn't have to say anything. He should be automatic box office. Now, if Beterbiev was a heavyweight with the same record he has, they could put a muzzle on him and he'd sell. Once a heavyweight could put people away, and that's one reason Anthony Joshua was able to market himself. Is just look at his knockout percentage. And a lot of them knockouts were in world title fights early in his career. If your opinion is he never fought nobody good, that's your opinion. You can have that. That's your opinion. I don't agree, but that's your opinion. He beat enough quality contenders to unify 3 straps. Can't take that away from him. And he has a certain charisma, even if he's not dancing, telling jokes or nothing like that, that if you could bottle it and sell it, you would. But you can't. You either have it or you don't. And he's a heavyweight. Boxing, to sum it up, the authenticity has to be there for conventional boxing. And you're getting that. 4-belt undisputed fight. Beterbiev and Bivol. And then you're getting 2 highly ranked heavyweight contenders, Parker, Bacoli, with a great storyline that they would use in a Hollywood movie to make a boxing film. There's going to be people who hear this video and say, well, they're casuals. If they don't appreciate the undisputed light heavyweight title fight, they're casuals. Well, the money that I can make from casuals spends the same way as the money I can get from the hardcores. Like you've got Buatsi versus Callum Smith. Neither of them have the X factor outside what they can do in the ring. Neither. And Yard is right. A fight with Buatsi would be more interesting to the fans. He is right. Although you could argue the fight is near past its sell-by date, with both of them being in their 30s and should be looking at world title fights and alternative challenges. Now, if Yard can look good against Lyndon Arthur and Buatsi can look good against Callum Smith, hey, it's on. But I think people are sick of hearing about them two are going to fight. If they can't get it done very quickly in the next window when that fight could be available, forget about it. Scrap it. Virgil Ortiz versus Madrimov. Them two couldn't sell flies to shit. Adric Caballero, good fighter in the ring. He can't sell shit either. Carlos Adames, zero X factor outside what he does in the ring. Hamza Sheeraz, he has a certain appeal and aura. I'm not going to lie, he does. And he's still young. And it's dependent on his performance tomorrow. Not how much shit he can talk. He needs a big performance tomorrow. And then he can become a superstar in British boxing. A household name. He definitely can. The Pakistan community are going to come out and watch his title defenses if he can become champion. They're going to come out. And I'm not saying he'll be restricted to the Pakistan demographic. I think he has potential household appeal. You know, like Shakur couldn't get the likes of William Cepeda in the ring, even though he's the #1 contender for the WBC belt. Just reluctant to take his title shot. Tank won't get in the ring with him. Lomachenko won't get in the ring with him. He ended up having to settle with Schofield. That turned into a pantomime, the accusations from Schofield Sr., which led to his son being hospitalized and withdrawn from the fight. The replacement, the unheralded Yorkshireman, Josh Padley, he gets his shot against Shakur. The only thing Shakur can salvage out of this now is putting on a masterclass. Because, weirdly, there may be eyes drawn to this fight now because of the pantomime stirred up by Schofield and his dad. And hopefully Shakur can go on to secure these big fights. Hopefully so. Hopefully Lomachenko, Cepeda and Tank Davis will grow up here. I think he could beat all of them. Just depends on them hands. I'm not sure if them hands are in the best condition for him to achieve his potential. And he's coming off the back of 2 points victories, which he's drew more criticism than praise for. Now, if he does dazzle against Padley, they're going to say, well, he's supposed to. But if the fight is going to draw attention, regardless of how it's come by that attention, he's got to take advantage of that and put on a vintage display. So yeah, there's a whole load of fighters who can't market themselves on the card, but you put them all on one card, match them creatively, then you end up with a very good card like we've got. Not to mention 2 heavyweight fights on that card with ranked contenders. Highly ranked contenders.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes. No one can do it better.